All right, good evening, everyone. Call the meeting to order. It's Tuesday, September 19th, 2023. Welcome to the School District of Springfield Township regular board meeting. I want to apologize again for the technical difficulties. It's back to school time, which requires of us lots of excitement, lots of energy, but also some patience as we get back into old routines. But we are now up and running with our technology. So excited to jump into a great agenda for this evening. We're going to have updates from community as well as students. So let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now for reading of the mission statement.
The mission of the School District of Springfield Township is to educate and develop all students as learners and citizens who are high achieving, resilient, and responsible in a changing global community.
Thank you, Ms. Hughes. And we'll go to roll call.
Mr. Needleman.
Here.
Mr. DeFranco.
Here.
Dr. Etlin.
Here.
Mrs. Green.
Here.
Mrs. Hubley. Mrs. Hughes.
Here.
Dr. Taratusky. Mr. Bedard.
Here. And just one announcement. The board at its discretion may videotape all or any portion of public board meetings subject to the limitations set forth in policy 006 meetings. Board meetings will be broadcast on Friday afternoon following each board meeting. And now we'll go to our reports and information. We'll start with our homeschool partnership and we'll have an update from Britta Kinkeldy.
Good evening. I'm actually Christia Donahue. I am Britta's co-president. She wasn't able to be here tonight. Thank you for having us. We're very excited about the year to come. We held our first general meeting last week and also held our board elections. We are excited that we have almost a full board this year of a lot of new parents. So we're really excited about that. We have a lot of energy going into the new year. Our first event was the kindergarten picnic, and we welcomed about 2/3 of the kindergarten class in, over 500 families that we served pizza and we had the Kona ice truck for, and it was a great time. So there's a lot of great energy coming off of the last few years where we can have all of our events back. So we're very excited for that. We are still looking for a few more committee members. We'd really like to round out our committees, our carnival, our trunk or treat, our book fairs. So we want everyone to feel very welcome and involved in our organization this year. It is everybody's organization. So we really want to encourage people to go to our website, which we have a new website this year as well. It's still eehsp.org, but we have a lot of more user-friendly offerings on there where you can sign up for our newsletter and our volunteer events. And we will be we were at back to school night at Erdenheim last week, where we just met again with a lot of the new families, sold spiritware. We're going to be at Enfield's back to school night this Thursday. And then we have our trunk or treat coming up on October 21st. That's our first community event where it's both for the school community, but we welcome all of the Springfield Township community to come. And it's a big fundraiser for us as well. And it's at Enfield, and ticket sales will begin very soon. And you can also sign up to do a trunk. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you for the update. Any comments or questions from the board? It looks like you're good. Thank you again for all the partnership. Next, we'll move to our student update from our student representative to the board, Naya Kennedy.
At Enfield, the returning first and second graders, as well as the new class of 2036, we're all excited to begin school at Enfield. The students are doing a fantastic job of picking up the classroom and school routines. The entire school attended the inaugural assembly, which reviewed the school expectations: be safe, be respectful, and be responsible. Additionally, they discussed what it means to have Spartan pride. They celebrated Dot Day for Spirit Day on the 15th. At Erdenheim Elementary, everyone was eager to start the 2023 through 2024 academic year strong. A big thank you to the entire crew for their dedication and hard work in getting ready for the students' arrival on Tuesday, September 5th. The district's tech team worked incredibly hard this summer to have 660 new touchscreen Chromebooks ready for students. Additionally, Ms. Chirwadi, the new strings instructor, will provide a brand new strings curriculum for grades 3 to 5. Grade level assemblies for students and staff were held on Friday, September 9th. They held their first elementary school spirit day for grades K to 5. It was wonderful to see staff and students wearing their blue, steel, and white colors. The fourth graders and teachers did their annual Constitution Day on Friday, September 15th, to highlight their study of the U.S. Constitution. As students and staff filled the hallways and the school's front walkways, students produced signs emphasizing the different amendments they have studied about in class. In support of the Go for Gold for the MIP Foundation to raise awareness of the childhood cancer, the fifth grade students and instructors will organize their second annual Go for Gold kickball competition on Thursday, September 28th. Along with Science Explorers returning on September 26th, they are also anticipating the start of the Speeder Running Club after-school program on September 21st. The middle school's opening was quite orderly and smooth, and all the safety drills were rehearsed throughout the first few days of classes. The results of the middle school PSSA show a significant academic improvement across all disciplines. On September 11th, fall sports started their practice. They are excited for a successful season in the near future, and there will be a number of activities such as Spartan Unity Day on September 20th and the start of the Student Council's fundraising event on September 21st. Picture Day on September 22nd, and the Go for Gold in the fight against pediatric cancer on September 28th, when all the students and faculty will wear gold to support the effort to eradicate this terrible disease. At the high school, class pictures were taken last week, and we were able to snap pictures of 750 Spartans. Yesterday, we celebrated Constitution Day with the viewing of a video produced by our A-Push students and their social studies teacher, Mr. Taylor. STHS has our 4 class officers elections this week. Tomorrow, Wednesday, September 20th, we welcome all the families back to our building for back to school night. The activities fair is on Friday, September 22nd. At the fair, students will have the ability to see what clubs and activities are offered this year. The high school is excited about the full kickoff of the students' activities. We go for the gold in the fight against pediatric cancer on September 28th. In sports, the Spartan golf team clinched Suburban 1 League Freedom Division Championship. This is the 4th consecutive year that the Spartans have brought home the Gold League trophy. Securing the Freedom Division allows the Spartan golfers an automatic bid to the PIAA District 1 Championship Tournament in October. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kennedy. That was an incredible update with tons going on. Any comments or questions? All right, thank you. We will now get an update from the Academic Affairs Committee, who met recently, from Dr. Carol Etlin.
Wow, dear, it's a hard act for me to follow, but thank you. The Academic Affairs Committee met on September 11th at 5 p.m. In attendance were Ms. Carla Green, Ms. Amy Hubley, Dr. Mary Jo Vianacone, Dr. Damian Johnston, student representatives Olivia Tao, as well as Ronan Kalina, Dr. Chuck Rittenhouse, Dr. Scott Scragan, Dr. Michelle Lutz, Dr. Megan Dennis, and Mrs. Megan Smeka. Discussed were Dr. Johnson provided an overview from last year of the priorities of implementing the new state STEEL standards. The STEEL standards stand for Science, Technology, Engineering, Environmental Literacy, and Sustainability. Also presented were details on the process for revision and the updated alignment of course content, focus skills, related standards, and connection to the profile of a graduate. This update will encompass high school science in the areas of physics, anatomy, physiology, and zoology. Dr. Johnston also provided an overview of the upcoming projects that will be brought to the Academic Affairs Committee throughout the year. And the following project areas will be for middle school science, elementary health, and K-5 English language arts. Also presented was the comprehensive plan. on the district being proposed for the upcoming 3-year cycle. This plan is submitted to the Pennsylvania Department of Education and includes the comprehensive plan and supporting plans for induction, professional development, student services, gifted education, and academic standards and assessment. The proposed plans and presentations have been placed on the district website for the public review period, which lasts from September 11th through October the 13th. Public comment or feedback should be directed to Dr. Johnston, and we encourage all to review. There were no public comments at the meeting, and the next meeting date for the academic committee will be on October the 9th. Thank you.
Dr. Etlin, any comments or questions? All right, thank you for that update. We will now move to administrative reports, and I will turn it over to Dr. Yannicone.
Thank you, Mr. Bedard. I want to thank Nia for her report. I'm going to highlight just a few of the items that were in her report that I thought were especially important for us to share with the board. One is that 2 of our 4 back-to-school nights have occurred. Last week, we had Erdenheim and the middle school over the last 2 weeks. We had very fantastic attendance from our parents. This coming Wednesday, tomorrow night, we have the high school back-to-school night and Enfield on Thursday. I do want to remind families, if you're watching, that we happen to have Enfield's back-to-school night on the same evening as Philmont Christian. And so we've asked families to do something a little different this year, and we've staggered 2 full sessions on Thursday evening to make sure parking is not overwhelming for our neighbors in the community. So we're looking forward to that. We'll have 2 full sessions, alphabetical. I also want to share that Sam Santa, a member of our 8th grade class, is the 3rd place winner for the middle school category of the Philadelphia Young Playwrights. She was notified about this just in the last week or so, and this is for her 7th grade project called Locked in the Dark. And so, as you know, many of our students in the middle school write plays as a component of their ELA curriculum. It's very nice to know that she was a 3rd place winner. And I know she and her family, as well as our middle school team and her ELA teacher, are very excited about that. I also want to highlight the Middle School Sportsmanship Award. This is the 2nd year in a row for this honor. This is the result of votes by all of the coaches in all middle school sports across the entire league. And so it's a real honor for our school district to be selected not 1 year, but 2. So really nice recognition. And I also wanted to share, and I'll be happy to send this to members of the board later this evening, one of our assistant principals at the high school, Pierre LaRocca, was featured in a 6 ABC News story over the weekend. He is part of a traditional baseball league that plays with 19th century rules in 19th century uniforms, no gloves. He makes the balls himself. That's part of his responsibility for the team. And it's a really fun piece in the news story that centers on ways to build community through a love of both sports and history. So a nice feature and a little bit of a star for one of our assistant principals. Also want to share in the agenda tonight, as was already mentioned by Dr. Etlin, this evening you have the comprehensive plan for 2023 through 2026 on the agenda for posting. So this would begin by your vote, the 30-day review period for the community to be able to provide any input or feedback. At the conclusion of that, we will have a motion roughly 30 days from now at our October 17th meeting that'll give us time to create any adjustments we want to make based on community feedback, and then we'll be able to have formal board approval and submit that on time by October 31st. And I want to thank Dr. Johnston. She's worked really hard to listen to the needs of our students and staff over the last 18 months or so to develop this 3-year plan. It will assist us in continuing to prepare our students as learners and citizens who are able to respond to the changing global community that we refer to in our mission statement. I'd also like to thank the Academic Affairs Committee because your questions last week were really thoughtful and your support of the draft plan is much appreciated. We also have several contracts on the agenda for students with special needs who have services and outplacements. And then you will also see Cardinal Point Homeland Security Group. We have a motion to approve their bid for investigatory services for residency investigations. They have done a fantastic job. Their hourly rate represents a significant savings to the district over our previous contractor. So we're excited about that. Also under the property agenda, we have 3 motions that are focused on the middle school project. The first is for construction management services from Dewey Engineering. As you know, we have worked with Dewey as our primary contract managing firm for a number of years. We're excited to continue to work with them on this new project. We have an excellent relationship with them and are really happy to continue. We're also happy that to have 2 additional motions recommended by Dewey that our committee has reviewed, a land survey and a building scan of the middle school. This will provide us really an overview of like the guts of the building and be able to help us when we bring in a design team to make sure that they know everything that's underneath the ground and within the walls and our systems so that we don't make any errors in the construction management. So we're going to confirm our existing conditions. That's what those motions refer to. Okay. And then finally, for my report tonight, we have our Spartan Spotlight. I want to invite up Dr. Spiker and Ms. Mack, as well as representatives from the 5th grade team. I believe we have Mr. Blenheim and Mrs. O'Donnell here to talk a little bit about our 5th grade small learning communities, which is a new initiative this year. And I'm going to share my screen so your slides come up. If you take the microphone and you go to the podium, that'll probably be ideal for the camera. Okay, and I'll have your slides up in just a moment. One moment, Mr. Spiker. Would you guys mind allowing me to screen share? Thank you. It's okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Ben Spiker, the principal at Ernheim Elementary. Excited to take a few minutes to give you some updates on some pretty exciting changes we made to the 5th grade structure this year that we're excited about just for 5th grade, and then also how that's going to prepare our students for success in middle school and beyond. So Ms. Mack, our assistant principal, is here. Chris Blenheim's here, one of our teachers, Aaron O'Donnell. So they're going to take it away in a second, but just so what we're going to hear was basically like how we sort of like arrived at some of these changes, like what the structure is, and then some early reports like on how things are going a couple weeks into the school year. Yeah, it's all yours, guys.
Cool. Thanks for having us. So if you wouldn't mind, I guess, going to the first slide, and our time's limited here, so we'll try to make it sweet and concise. So the process, how we got to this decision was prior to the pandemic, where basically we had the opportunity to visit a neighboring district, Colonial School District, and we had been discussing switching to this model of departmentalization. And we had a chance to visit and talk to some of the teachers and principals within the Colonial School District, just because they were familiar with the models, just to sort of get some thoughts and ideas about how this could look in our school at Ernheim. And everything looked great. We met with them. Unfortunately, the pandemic hit, and obviously all of those sort of plans were put to the side because of switching in classrooms. So I don't know if you can go to the next slide. So that's sort of how we got here. Then this year, we finally had the opportunity to actually put this in motion. A lot of obviously the rules and everything were sort of behind us, so we didn't really have to worry about that too much with switching. We had a similar model in 5th grade where some of the math students switched prior to the pandemic, but once obviously again the pandemic happened, we sort of had to get rid of that model. So the 2023, if you could skip ahead, it's kind of 2022, 2023 consists of 9. If you can go to that next slide, would probably be good. So it consists of 9 teachers, and there's 3 small learning communities. And basically how that works is there's a math teacher, there's an ELA teacher, there's a science and social studies teacher. So we all have homerooms, and we're doing SPT with our homerooms, Spartan Pride Time, and then we're switching throughout the day with our classrooms. So some of our kids might go to ELA first, some of our students might go to math, some of them will come to science and social studies. So we're rotating throughout the day. There's 3 blocks within that schedule. So the teams consist of, I don't know if we need to say this, but myself, Mrs. Peak, Mrs. Wynn on team 1, and then we have Mrs. S. Brown, Mr. Okawa, Mrs. Ellerson on team 2. And then team 3 is Ms. Holmes, Mrs. O'Donnell, and Mrs. A. Brown.
I think we go to the next slide.
Yeah. So again, the schedule details, and Aaron, I don't know if you want to take over after this, but the schedule details is, again, they start with us in homeroom, the students. So we get that Spartan Pride time, which is sort of a sacred time where we get to work with the kids on different situations maybe they might encounter on the playground or just in the community, just in this throughout the school day. The kids love this time because it's like discussion. And just the kids love it. So we sort of want to just keep that within our homeroom. And then again, with the academic classes, that's when the switching happens. And then at the end of the day, for our pastime, the students end the day with us for that sort of guided reading block. So it's about a 25, 30-minute end of the day guided reading block, and then they're all dismissed from their homeroom.
And so like this is a nice bridge between where K-4 teachers primarily stay with the same homeroom teacher all day.
Yeah.
That same teacher teaches reading, math, social studies, science, where kids are really only sort of moving out of the homeroom for art, for music. And so this is sort of a nice halfway point between what kids are going to experience in middle school and to sort of have that first experience in like a comfortable environment with a building that they're familiar with, so they don't have 100 things that are brand new to them when they go to middle school. They get that taste of the middle school experience when they're still in elementary school, which we think is going to set them up for that stronger transition than when they go to 6th grade the next year. Okay, take it to the next slide.
Yeah, in the next slide. This is just a general overview of one of our teams. We have Team A and Team B. You can see that the students are moving classes 3 times per day. So we're limiting, it's not 8 times a block like they're seeing in middle school and high school. It's only 3 times. We are requiring that we're starting to get used to, this is week 3, and we're starting to see that they are responsible citizens in our classrooms, where every day before they leave, we do a mental check. Do you have a binder? Do you have your Chromebook? Do you have your snack for block 1? Because we get very hungry by 10:15 in the morning. And then our homeroom is always home base for those 3 classes on each team. They come in the morning, like Chris said, for SPT, and then for guided reading, which is a nice little way to like end the day, come together again as a homeroom. On the next slide, did you want to add anything?
Okay.
So there's several benefits that we're already seeing academically as a 5th grade team. We're already seeing that we're able to collaborate so much more in specific content areas. When we chose our specific content area, it was really what we were passionate about. And it's really increased the way that we work together. We're able to now start planning more authentic learning experiences, cross-curricular projects, which I think will be great for the students. And it's, like I said, really deepening our planning and what we're loving and what our knowledge base is as different team members. On the next slide, I think it talks about the social benefits for students. They're loving, if you ask any student, they're not moving with their homerooms, they're mixing in with the other students that are in their small learning community. So we see 75, almost 80 students per day, which is a little bit more challenging learning names the first couple weeks after when you're only used to 25 students. But the kids are loving interacting with maybe kids that they only had 1 class with from kindergarten until 5th grade. They're also, I've heard from students that they're loving the different teaching styles that the different teachers have. Some are more outgoing, some are more zen, like Mr. Blenheim. I'm loud, he's not. But they're seeing that there's different relationships that they may not have been able or been exposed to before this time, before they were able to mix classes. And like we said, I have middle schoolers. I know the anxiety that knowing this first couple of weeks of school cause in 6th grade, and to know that they are already showing the confidence of, I have what I need, even though I'm juggling all of my things down the hallway. They are showing so much confidence in 5th grade already. Emotionally, they are showing that they are responsible, like we said, Spartans already. They're making sure they bring their belongings. I don't think I may have had 1 student that forgot something one day. They're just really taking pride in being able to do this, that this is something that this has never been done before. And they're really motivated by it. Any fifth grade parent, even sixth grade and middle school, organizational skills is something that we are working on, especially after the pandemic. So this, I think, really will benefit them in the long run and moving on to middle school and high school.
And then I think it's little things that if you're not in the building every day, it may not seem like a big thing, but just like this is the first time that kids aren't transitioning in a line, teacher at the front of the line, we're walking from point A to point B. Kids are just transitioning on their own. Teachers are like in their doorways, they have eyes on kids, but kids are sort of like knowing like I'm going here, you're going here. Like maybe my teacher's still like wrapping up the class, we need to sort of like wait here for a minute. Like those kinds of just sort of like little like signs of maturity for kids being able to handle those moments and sort of to manage their time, to manage their space, to be able to talk with friends but not be disruptive to the class next to them. Those kinds of things, like fifth graders are already doing a great job with this 3 weeks in a way that like lots of kids in middle school actually have a hard time with. So just like the kids and the adults are doing a great job with this so far.
Yeah. And I think we've gotten a lot of feedback so far. I've even been on the baseball fields and I've heard parents come up to me and like, oh my gosh, I heard it's going so great. We've gotten parent feedback after back to school night. Like, I really love this dynamic of the team together, and the teachers overwhelmingly, I think, are really in favor of this model. And just to close out, I know Mr. Spiker shared a great quote when he emailed the fifth grade teachers. One of our fifth graders, Christopher, was coming down the hallway and you heard him. Do you want to tell the story?
Yeah. Just like I'm at dismissal, like as kids are rushing to go on the buses, I see a fifth grader, Christopher, talking to some fourth graders about like, I have different teachers now. I got to organize my stuff. They're getting us ready for middle school. And just the fact that kids unprompted talking to each other, like how they can internalize both just like the structures, but also like the why behind them already 3 weeks in. I think it's just a huge testament to just the planning that the fifth grade team has done to put into this. Again, the numbers, like decisions they've had to make, the questions they've had to think through, just the thought process sort of go from one structure to another. It's a big change. But that hard work has definitely paid off, and it's really just neat to see kids, especially being excited about that, and then just knowing how that is going to positively impact them through the rest of this year and then into that transition to middle school. So big kudos to the fifth grade team.
And thank you to Courtney and especially to Ben for jumping in, just coming in head first into all this. And Mary Jo, thank you for like having the confidence in us to do this. So thank you for your support. We appreciate it as a fifth grade team. So we're looking forward to the rest of the year.
Yeah, thank you. Any questions for us?
Any comments or questions from the board?
I'm really excited about this model. Just the fact that the students will be sort of a midpoint to getting to the next grade level, learning some new skills, being able to even operate in the hallway and know where to go, a higher level of independence. I'm really excited that the teachers are teaching in their area of strength, because even when you describe, we got to pick our own subject, you went like this. And I can see how much you just enjoy being able to select a subject that you really, really enjoy and teach. And that really will make a difference in the instruction and how that comes forward to the students. So fantastic. I'm excited to see what that looks like throughout the school year. So thank you.
I'm a non-professional, deeply interested in it. And I guess I want to make sure what you're doing sounds really exciting. And I just want to make sure that I'm wrapping my head around it. So if I can express it a different way, and if you can tell me if I'm right, it sounds like you're in at least in large part with the program, raising expectations of the students and watching them meet those expectations, right? And being on their own and being responsible for making sure that they have what they need. And it's really kind of exciting to hear that they're doing it. Have I got that?
Yeah. And I think being there to meet them where they're at and kind of encouraging them along the way is really important too, to just show them this is what we expect, but we're here to help you get there.
Right. So as an example, the fifth grade team worked together to have a common student binder, like organizational structure, right? So like every kid in 5th grade that has the same binder, that's set up the same way, has the same important information on the cover and everything. So kids have the responsibility that they have to go between different teachers, but we're not just saying, hey, figure that out. We're saying, hey, we're gonna sort of teach you how to do this. We're gonna give you tools and reminders and prompting, because by the time you get to 7th and 8th grade, you're probably not gonna have that in the same way, but we're gonna sort of teach you how to do that now so that you can then take those same ideas that on your own as you get older as a student.
Thank you.
And I just wanted to quickly shout out the team that's working behind the scenes, all of our specialists,
Yes.
you know, our gifted teacher, all of those who are doing learning support. You know, they've had to also be very flexible with how they schedule their 5th grade support, you know, so I really just want to make sure we shout them out because
Yes,
they work
absolutely.
extremely hard to create schedules. Not only that, but also our music teachers and have to be flexible in how to support students. So it's really beautiful to see how not only our 5th grade team is wrapping their heads around this idea, but all of our school is getting on board to support these students. So we're excited.
Yeah, it's like we intentionally made things more complicated for everybody because we thought it was gonna be the right thing to do, but it's definitely taken a lot of understanding and teamwork because things that, again, existing structures that people had routines and habits, but sort of like how we make a schedule for when reading support happens, now it's much more complicated because kids are rotating throughout the day, but everybody on board has been like, this is worth it, and the payoff is going to be important. So we're going to have to do some extra work, some extra conversations, some extra making spreadsheets and trying to figure it all out because it's going to be the best thing for kids. Thanks, Mitch.
I had an additional question. Like Mr. Needleman, I also have no education background. So I was wondering if you could say a sentence or two about how this affects homework, having separated out classes and how you're managing workload for homework when you now have 3 different teachers rather than one homeroom teacher assigning it.
Well, I mean, for the homework aspect, I mean, it depends really on the teacher, but typically for homework, it's the same as they would have gotten in the other model where you have your students all day. So typically there's math homework, there's ELA homework. I know I give social studies homework if the students aren't finishing the classwork that they needed to finish that day. So it sort of looks a little different because I never in the past would have given social studies homework, but since that's my content area, I'm gonna try to focus on that a little bit more. But typically it's math, ELA's reading, sometimes there's a worksheet.
And we work together as a small learning community. So
Right.
those 3 teachers share like a document where they know like, hey, this is what we have for homework in math Monday through Thursday. This is what, so they know I have on my board math, reading, and social studies, so that even my homeroom, if they missed what was written in the math room for homework, it's right there in their homeroom. So it's really about communication. That's what we've learned so far is that your small community is your team. Like you need to really touch base with them and communication is key.
Right. And we're sending home something that's different this year is each small learning community that consists of the 3 teachers are sending home a newsletter, math, ELA, social studies, and that's sort of a snapshot, like what they're looking forward to the next week. So tests, quizzes. So we're all in sync, which is really nice. Again, it's taking a lot of hard work, but I mean, it's totally worth it. Being able to plan in areas that we really enjoy teaching in and more engaging lessons, I mean, has been awesome. So yeah, I mean, it's been such a great experience so far and looking forward to doing it for the whole year.
I just wanted to say thank you to all of you for being here tonight at the end of a long day. And I appreciate the fact that Mr. Spiker in his 3rd week as the new principal, when I went to him and I said, hey, how about if the first Spartan Spotlight is yours in a brand new program? And he said, sure, no problem, that's fine, and brought the team together. So I do appreciate that. They've done a lot of work and we're just 3 weeks in, but we're excited for the growth that we're going to see in our 5th graders. And a year from now, we're really excited to see the impact that has on positively transitioning our elementary students into the middle school. And that's going to be, I think, one of the longer term benefits of this new model that does involve a lot of work on the part of the staff, but a lot of joy on the part of our students. So we appreciate all the work you guys are putting in. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
And that concludes my report.
All right. I just want to reiterate, guys, thank you very much for an excellent presentation. A ton of work that went into that. You found a new way to tap into Spartan pride. Sounds like both for the teachers, but students as well, to take pride in this new experiment. I think it would be great, Dr. Yannicone, if we could do like a mid-year check-in and just see how things are progressing. It's pretty exciting. So thank you very much. Okay. I have lost track. I was so into that presentation. There we go. We are now going to move to public comments on agenda items. We'll look first to see if anyone signed up in the room, and then we can go online. Mr. Needham.
Thank you, Mr. Bedard. As Mr. Bedard said, we'll take comments on agenda items. I don't see that anyone who is joining us in person has signed up to speak. Do I have that right? It looks like I do. So I'll turn to our guests joining us online and see if any of them wish to comment on any of the agenda items tonight. As a reminder, we do have a 3-minute time limit, and we'll just ask that you identify where you live in the district before you speak. And I don't see any hands raised. As a reminder too, anyone who's joining us online who does wish to speak on an agenda item, if you could just raise your hand or raise a digital hand anyway to let us know that you want to speak. And I tried to babble and stall for time, and I don't see any hands raised.
Very good. Thanks, Mr. Needham. Our first action of the day here is to approve minutes from prior meetings. So our first item is, the first recommended action is the Board of School Directors will approve the board minutes from August 22nd, 2023, which was our regular board meeting. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Thank you. In a second.
Second.
Any comments or questions? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Okay, we'll move on to the treasurer's report. Recommended action is the Board of School Directors approves the August 31st, 2023 treasurer's report. Is there a motion?
Motion.
In a second. Any comments or questions? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Treasurer's report is good. On to human resources. We have a personnel file to review. The recommended action is the Board of School Directors approves the following personnel as presented in the attachment: certified personnel, support personnel, temporary personnel, extra pay for extra responsibilities for 2023 and 2024, and conference workshop attendance per the attached file. Is there a motion? Thank you. In a second. Any comments or questions on our personnel file? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We're good on personnel. On to academic affairs as presented by Dr. Etlin. We have approval of our comprehensive plan to be posted for the public. Our recommended action. The Board of School Directors, upon the recommendation of the Academic Affairs Committee, approves the 30-day public posting of the draft of the SDST Comprehensive Plan 2023 through 2026. This includes the School District of Springfield Township Comprehensive Plan and the additional required plans for induction, professional learning, academic standards and assessment, gifted education, and student support services. Approval of this motion enables the board to approve the final plan for submission to PDE at the next full board meeting. Is there a motion? Thank you. In a second. Any comments or questions?
I had a quick question. Once this is posted, is there a way that parents in the district are notified of the availability, or is it only through knowing about this meeting?
We certainly, I included it in my newsletter, and I believe Dr. Johnston has posted it on the website. Is there any other information you want to share? Sure.
It's on. We sent it through each of the e-blasts through the building with a link, direct link to the documents and my email address in case there was feedback.
Fantastic, thank you.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? Great. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? We will post that for the public. Next, Camp Hill School enrollment contract. The recommended action, the Board of School Directors approves the enrollment contract between the Camp Hill School Incorporated and the School District of Springfield Township for student 2023-0919-01 for 126 days in the amount of $39,199.86. Is there a motion? Thank you. In a second.
Second.
Any comments or questions on the Camp Hill School enrollment contract? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We're good on the contract. Next, Lakeside Youth Service. Recommended action, the Board of School Directors approves the agreement between the School District of Springfield Township and Lakeside Youth Service for one special education slot at Lakeside for the 2023-2024 school year at a cost of $40,725. Is there a motion? Thank you. In a second. Any comments or questions? Wait, I don't know if I got a second. Thank you. Thank you. It's moving fast there. We now have a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Pass. Finally, on this topic, we'll do Cardinal Point Homeland Security Group. The Board of School Directors approves the contract with Cardinal Point Homeland Security Group for investigatory services at a rate of $40 per hour, pending final solicitor review of the contract. Is there a motion? Thank you. In a second. Thank you. Any comments or questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That will pass. No items this week, this meeting for finance or policy. Will go to property. And Dr. Yannicone reviewed these in her upfront overview. We have a proposed agreement with Dewey Engineering. Recommended action is the Board of School Directors approves the contract with Dewey Engineering Incorporated for construction management services for the Springfield Township Middle School additions and renovations project in the amount of $1,050,745, pending final solicitor review of the contract. Is there a motion? Thank you. In a second.
Second.
Any comments or questions on Dewey Engineering contract?
I have a question. So we're still at the planning phase, but the first section of this is very specific as what it lays out as being that's going to be rolled into the project. So are we limited to those items, or if during this process the district determines that something else is needed, can that be added, or is that, are we limited to this paragraph 1.1.1?
The scope of the project was based upon the discussions that were held over the last 2 years in property and with the community and with our students and staff. However, the board always has the option to ask for changes, and the only limit you have is the budget you decide to set.
Great,
And what Ms. Green here will allow you.
great.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Just to build on the question, because it is such a significant dollar amount.
It is.
That dollar amount was already contemplated in the total project, which we've planned for and financed. And this obviously falls within the reasonable range for a project of this size.
Yes. And I'm happy to have Mr. Thorne provide any additional details if you would like at this time. One of the things that for those of you who are not part of property committee, or just as a reminder, we have set a budget, a preliminary budget that we'll share with property next Thursday. We have a property meeting next Thursday morning. That is based upon some work that Ms. Green has done with our finance corporation in order to make sure that we can afford a particular amount of borrowing. And so it falls within those parameters. It also falls within the parameters that we discussed for scope earlier last year. But you can always make changes. Thank you. You want to talk about that a little bit?
It's also just a change from probably what you're used to when we're looking at engineering services or architect services. This engineering service is a fixed fee contract. Usually it's a percentage of the total project. And Dewey gave us a fixed fee price.
Very helpful. Thank you for that context. Any further comments or questions? Great. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, we're set to move forward. Pending final solicitor review, as it states here. All right, our next item is for Arthur Swallow Associates. The recommended action: the Board of School Directors approves Arthur A. Swallow Associates Incorporated, the lowest responsible bidder for land surveying services for the Springfield Township Middle School additions and renovations project in the amount of $11,250. Is there a motion? Motion. Thank you. In a second. Any comments or questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That will pass. Finally, on property, we have Production Modeling Corporation. The Board of School Directors approves Production Modeling Corporation, the lowest responsible bidder, for building, scan, and Revit modeling services for the Springfield Township Middle School additions and renovations project in the amount of $30,595. Is there a motion? Thank you. In a second. Any comments or questions? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? We'll move forward with each of these contracts. Now that concludes all of our motions. We will move on to public comment for non-agenda items. I'll turn it over to Mr. Needleman.
Thank you, Mr. Bedard. Now we're going to take comments on non-agenda items. I'll start with people who are in the room. I see Meredith McGlinchey. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Yeah. Good. You've signed up. Please just let us know where you live in the township. It looks like there's a 9:30.
Oh, I live in Winmore.
In Winmore. Very good. Thank you. And I'll just remind you of our 3-minute time limit.
Fair enough. I'm just going to pass you guys briefly before I sit down and start my 3 minutes. These are survey results of a survey a Facebook group ran.
Thank you.
A little bit about that.
Of course. Thank you.
If you sort of go through the survey, you'll see there's a ton of parent comments. It's separated into 4 sections. There are end-field parent comments, early parent comments, and full parent comments. All right, let me sit down and get started. I will keep this short. So, my name is Meredith McGlinchey, and I am here representing the SDST Parents for Reduced Screen Time. It's a Facebook group. We started it in August, Karen Schultz-Moore and myself, after encountering some issues with our children's educations in the district. Personally, and let me just grab my phone. Personally, I noticed that my son was really bored and listless in June when he came home. I went through his Chromebook history from school. I linked my computer, and I saw a lot of stuff that he shouldn't have been on at school. I saw skibidi toilet videos. I saw French fry challenges and all sorts of ridiculous stuff on YouTube. His teacher had an illness not last year, and she was absent frequently. And unfortunately, those sub days turned into scrolling days for my son. And so I was concerned, and I approached admin, and I wanted to see if I could reduce or eliminate the Chromebook for my son. That's not possible given the current academic climate. However, we have a lot of comments from parents. People are saying, if you look through the comment section, that their children have been exposed to racially inappropriate content, people who have been exposed to violent content, middle school parents in particular. I'm going to go through some of the themes. I apologize for my nerves. All right, so some of the themes that we've noticed. when we go through these different things. The survey revealed that there was unclear policies that appear to vary teacher to teacher. We are pushing for the district to adopt a clear policy and communicate it better to all parents. How are computers used in each classroom? What is the deal with free time on the computers? Why is my child getting free time, or why was he at least? This survey is based on last year's results. We also have little confidence that students are using them solely for education. There appears to be a lot of downtime on the computers. Digital textbooks are not great. There was a lot of comments, and you'll see in the middle school part, about the Spanish program and the math program, the books being mainly online, and they already running out of print copies when parents have asked. That was a comment shared with me on Facebook today. And so if you look through these comments, it's pretty disappointing, and we're just hoping that the district adopts a better policy. In my own school, I am an educator myself.
Ms. McGlinchey, I'm sorry, just interrupt, 1 minute left.
Fair enough. All right. In my own school as well, we have gone through a lot of the same struggles, and where we've landed, better filtration of content, obviously. We shut down YouTube at my school. You can allow students to watch YouTube videos if you register the Chromebooks and then you put the settings in the Google admin software. The teachers can embed the appropriate videos in their Google Classroom, while the students don't have to have random unlimited access to YouTube in school. We'd like the lunch in the middle school to eliminate the use of Chromebooks. Put Chromebook carts in the lunchroom, assign each student a number and a cart, have them put it away. They should be socializing at lunch. We don't want you guys to lead with digital textbooks, but instead lead with the print and have digital as a backup support if a student's out. And younger students' parents are requesting to not have Chromebooks go home or iPads go home. They say they're just unnecessary. And personally, I'd like to see sub-plans not include digital content, because my son, my 10-year-old, he did not use that appropriately on sub days. And it's silly to expect that children are using computers when they're fun as, appropriately for education. I could go on and on, but I'm not going to. Have a nice day.
Fine, thanks so much.
Thanks.
Thank you for sharing this in the survey results as well.
Sure. I have more copies, and I can send you guys the PDF if you need it.
Thank you. I don't see that anyone else has signed up to join us on.
And it's 131 families have joined so far.
Thank you. Has signed up to speak in person. I'll turn now to the folks joining us online. And if anyone does wish to speak, just raise a digital hand, please, and let us know. As a reminder, we do have a 3-minute time limit, and I'll ask that you, just as Mrs. McGlinchey did, just let us know where you live in the township. And I don't see any hands raised.
All right, very good. Future meeting dates. We have some upcoming committee meetings and board meetings. First, for board meeting dates, we have an interim board meeting on Tuesday, October 3rd, 2023. Will continue to be hybrid. And a regular board meeting on Tuesday, October 17th, 2023. While we do have online option, we'd love to see you in person, and all of our meetings are held here at the Audion, which is located in the middle school next to the cafeteria. Our future committee meeting dates coming up. We have property committee meeting on Thursday, September 28th, 2023 at 8 a.m. That is a virtual meeting. We have academic affairs committee meeting on Monday, October 9th, 2023. That's at 5 p.m. That is a virtual meeting. And we have policy committee meeting on Friday, October 27th, 2023 at 9 a.m. Also a virtual meeting. All details for these committee meetings can be found on the district website. Just wanted to open it up for any closing comments or questions from board members. Last time for the microphone for you, Dr. Yannicone. Anything to add?
Sure. I just want to acknowledge Mrs. McGlinchey. Thank you for sharing the survey results. Mrs. McGlinchey, along with several other parents, have been very positive advocates. They've met with our administrative team. They've met with our building staff in order to share some of their concerns. I want to share with you and with parents who are part of the group. As you know, we don't join the social media groups, but I want to share that our new director of technology has been diving into the filtration system, the filtering system. We 100%, at this point, I make comments, I apologize, it's not a Q&A. I just want you to know and the public to know that our Director of Technology is looking into the filter system across the district to make sure that it is reasonable for parents to expect that unsafe materials would not be on district devices. And so that's an important thing that you've brought to our attention, and I appreciate that. In addition, we have worked with our administrative team this summer on a book study called Vintage Innovation. Vintage Innovation talks about, John Spencer is the author, talks about the blending of traditional and contemporary forms of education in ways that are responsible, future ready, and also reflective of all the needs of children. And so we've been doing some great work there under Dr. Johnston's leadership. And in addition, we take very seriously the concerns that have been raised by the few parents who've contacted us directly about downtime in the classroom and non-instructional use of technology. We believe they should be tools that enhance students' education, but they're not a babysitting device. And so I appreciate you providing the survey results to us. I know that our building administrators have taken seriously any concerns that have been brought to them directly, and we'll certainly take this survey back to the full team, digest it, and then continue our conversations with classroom staff. So thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
With that, thank you everyone for being here, both online and in person. It was great seeing our neighbors, and we'll adjourn for the evening. Thank you.